It sounds like a standard American diet is out of the way. So from like a vegan to carnivore, it doesn't matter.
It's not that it doesn't matter, but all of them are, they can be okay. Like, there's nothing wrong with...
Too much refined, like, it's more forgiving than...
Yeah, the refined foods, I think, are bad. So whether you're vegan or carnivore, so they can both be highly refined, right? So carnivore less so, but vegan, you can eat a very highly refined vegan diet. It can be very unhealthy. The thing about veganism is that people pretend like that means anything. That is, just because you eat plants only does not mean that it's healthy. That is, I could eat, French fries and donuts all day long. It's still vegan, right?
There you go.
Is it healthy? Nobody in their right mind would say that's healthy.
Right.
But it's vegan, right? So it's like, so just because you eat plants doesn't mean it's healthy for you.
Should be more natural food.
Yeah, you want to eat natural food. So there's this whole other I think they call it whole food plant-based or something like that, which is very healthy. So you're eating whole vegetables and salads and cooked vegetables and so on. And that's fine. If you want to eat things like that, then that's perfectly fine. There's lots of different reasons too. There's ethical reasons. That's fine. If you want to eat it for ethical reasons.
It's same, like you could be a carnivore and then eating only ham and cheese. Sausage and processed meat and
so that can be very healthy or unhealthy, right? So eating only meat or eating only vegetables does not
mean much.
Yeah, exactly. So same thing with carnivore, for example. So it's less likely to make you eat all the time, right? So the two things is really, eat whole foods, but don't eat all the time. With meat, it's hard to eat all the time because meat really makes you full a lot of the time. Whereas if you're eating highly refined vegetables, you could eat all the time. If I ate like French fries and drank Coca-Cola, that's vegan, but you'd eat all the time because it doesn't fill you up, right? So the whole idea is that you want to make sure that you're following those, whole foods and not eating all the time. The types of food are important, but it's not the only thing. So if you look at various diets throughout the world, like, in China in the 1980s, they're eating a highly carbohydrate-based diet. It was all rice and vegetables. But there was very little obesity at the time. Japan, again, they still eat rice and quite a bit of rice, and yet they're one of the slimmest, nations on earth.
Right.
So so there are other factors at play: how much you eat, but also the culture. Because if your portions tend to be smaller, then of course you're going to tend to eat less. But also not eating sort of constantly. This sort of snacking culture became sort of really entrenched in...
That's the problem, right?
Yeah.
So we don't even have to use the word intermittent fasting, but then having like a moment of fasting throughout the day, would you say that's the proper human diet?
Absolutely. So the idea was that in the past, for example, people would say, if you went back to the 70s, 60s, 70s, and you wanted a snack in between, say, after school and dinner, your mom would say, no, you don't eat a snack after school. You wait till dinner. You're going to ruin your dinner. Right. If you wanted a snack after dinner, you should say, no, there's nothing to eat after dinner. You should have ate more at dinner. That's the way you eat. So we went from that, where people actively discouraged snacking and said, no, that's not good for you. It's not natural. It's not healthy. To now...
We knew it, right? We knew about it. It's wrong.
Yeah, we used to. Now we tell people it's right. So everybody says, eat all the time, snack all the time. You go to schools, right? And the people give you like mid-morning snacks. And
they have a snack time.
Snack time and after-school snacks and, bedtime snacks. And, if you go on a trip, please send some snacks with your kids, right?
Yeah.
It became sort of completely entrenched in our culture as a healthy thing, when in reality, it was not a healthy thing because, if you ate lunch, then you've taken a lot of calories, right? You've eaten a lot of food which has calories, which your body needs to digest and store. And then after you finish lunch, now you're going to start using them, right? So at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, your body is going to use those calories that you took from lunch, right? And then you eat dinner. Instead of that, so now you eat lunch, you stored all those calories, but by 3 o'clock when you're starting to use them, now you're putting more in. Well, how is that healthy? And we know from lots of studies that the more frequently you eat, the more overall you tend to eat, right? So you could say, well, as long as you control the amount, but like, why would you want to do that? Why don't you just simply control the number of times that you eat? Isn't that a lot smarter? Because naturally, if you eat fewer times in a day, you're naturally going to eat less overall. So the whole idea of this sort of frequent snacking was just a bad idea. It was based on no science at all. There was no science that said it was
Is it the idea come from maybe food industry? They wanted to sell more?
I think it was.
Yeah.
I think it was.
And then we culturally just accept it?
It's because there was a lot of people who, so the snack food companies, and there's a whole program about this on the BBC, that talked about in the 60s how snacking was really actively discouraged by parents, right? But the snack food industry really, you can't sell more food, right? So if you eat, a certain amount at dinner, in order for one food to get, sell more, you had to buy less of some other food, right? Because people generally ate until they're full. So the way around that was to add that extra meal, the snack time. And that's where in the 60s, people started to really actively encourage the snack time, telling people it was healthy, it was good for you. But it wasn't. It was really just a product of marketing. And then as people started to believe that it was healthy for you, then you spring up all these donut stores and coffee shops that sell food all the time.
And TV commercials all the time, right?
And TV commercials, because they're profitable. So you have to remember that selling highly processed food is much more profitable than selling natural food. So very few people make money if you buy broccoli, whereas people sell you a chocolate chip. They make a lot of food. They like to make a lot of money. So there's different incentives.